Hey everyone, Plasma Dragon 15 here with an Ubers battle against 777Pokemonmaster. Um, he asked me to do an Ubers match and I didn't have an Uber team, so I just made one in 5 minutes, and this is the result of our battle. Our first Ubers battles together, and this is like his first one too, so yeah. I just used Pokemon that I always wanted to use but couldn't use because they're Uber, and Ho-Oh was one of them. And yeah, I lead off with my Ho, I believe. He leads off with his Ferrothorn. I just substitute, Sacred Fire and all that stuff. And he brings in his Lugia, and an Adamant Max Attack Sacred Fire Stab does that much to a Lugia? That is quite pathetic. I was so disappointed in Ho-Oh. But yeah, after he sets up Reflect, he goes back into his Arceus normal form, I believe. And he breaks my sub, and that's sad. So I just go into Giratina, because I believe this thing can wall that thing efficiently, but it turns out he has Shadow Claw, which I actually find out. So he goes back into his Ferrothorn, knowing I'm going to Will-O-Wisp, and he takes the Will-O-Wisp, it's always nice to have residual damage on walls. And I go back out into Lugia before he sets up Stealth Rocks, as if that wasn't obvious enough. And yeah, this is cool. But you don't know what to say. I don't really understand Uber's metagame, because this is my first match. Hey look, another Sacred Fire did a pathetic amounts of damage to a Lugia. But I have to say, it's kind of cool seeing the two Gold and Silver legendaries, on the same battlefield and stuff. Anyway, he sets up his Reflect, I believe, and I just go for a Roost. And I actually find out that the reason I'm doing such pathetic damage to that thing is because it has Multiscale, and that's Lugia's Dreamworld's ability, which is kind of cool and annoying at the same time. Anyways, I know he's going to Toxic, so I just go into my Steel Arceus, set up the Stealth Rock, because all Arceuses set up Stealth Rock. I don't know, I just had a random filler move on it. And of all the people to Dragon Tail me into, he makes me go into Ho-Oh, and it gets wrecked by Stealth Rocks, and then I get Toxic. So the first time I use Ho-Oh, and I really wanted to use him because he's one of my favorite legendaries, he's getting rocked by a Lugia. And so I go back into Steel Arceus, and he Dragon Tails me into, hey, Ho-Oh again out of all Pokemon, and he gets wrecked, and at this point I'm getting peeved at this Lugia, because it's taking no damage, it's setting up Reflect, and it's just Dragon Tailing me into Stealth Rock and Toxicking me. So I'm like, F it, Ho-Oh, you can die, I don't care. I don't care about you anymore, you're just dead weight, you're not helpful anyway, I don't care if you're my only fire type against Ferrothorn. You can just die. But he does get the burn, which is helpful to break the Multiscale and stuff. But the sad fact that Sacred Fire has 50% burn chance, and I used 4 and I didn't get it until just now on the 5th one, is pathetic, Ho-Oh. So yeah, sorry. So I got into my Specs Palkia. And one thing I really like about Ubers is just the sheer power of the Pokemon in it, because I'm a really offensive player. I use only 2 walls max on a team, because I just like hitting stuff really, really hard. And seeing a Specs Draco Meteor do that much to a Lugia, that made me really excited. And seeing another one after a -2 do that much to an Arceus, I was really impressed by this Palkia. So I decided to switch out because I'm at -4. And I go into my Giratina, and he goes for the Recover, predicting a switch even though it was blatantly obvious. And he was faster than me anyway, so he would have gotten the Recover anyway. But he goes for the Swords Dance, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just Will-O-Wisp you, because he thought that I would think that he would go into Ferrothorn to take the burn. But I'm not risking anything against an Arceus, especially the Swords Dance Extreme Speed one. So I got into my Arceus knowing he's gonna Shadow Claw or something, because he has to have some type of Ghost or Dark move to make up for his Ghost type, immunity thingy. And at this point his Arceus is kinda useless because it's burned, so he just leaves it in as fodder, and I just Judgment that thing and it dies. So he goes out into his Reshiram, and Reshiram is my favorite legendary. I love that thing. It's such a cool design and stuff, and such a cool typing. But yeah, he kinda overkills me with Blue Flare, and I believe that thing is Spexed. So yeah, I kind of get rocked. And I didn't want anything taking a Specs Blue Flare, even a Palkia that 4 times resisted, especially since I kind of want Palkia. So he goes out into his Lugia's fodder to see what I'm going to lock myself into, and it's Hydro Pump. So he's going to go out into his Heracross, and all Heracross and Uber are like Scarf. That's like a law. So I go back out into my Giratina, knowing that I wall both of his stabs. And he Mega Horns and it missed, but it doesn't matter because it would have done jack all to my Giratina. And he goes into Ferrothorn, and I know he's going to go into Ferrothorn to take the burn, so I just go for the Dragon Claw. And I take more damage from Iron Barbs than he takes from Dragon Claw, which is cool. So I know that he's going to try to status me, because Ferrothorns tend to carry like Thunder Wave or some crap like that, and I really don't want my Sweepers to take a Thunder Wave, because all I have left is Zekrom and Shaman Sky. So I just leave Giratina in to take it. And I believe here he Thunder Waves again, predicting a switch, which I don't do, I believe. No, he goes for a Leech Seed. And I get a crit, which is cool, even though it doesn't matter. But he Leech Seeds me, which is kind of bad because I have a high HP and he has like a low HP stat, so he's going to be gaining like a crap load amount of health. Like, just look at that. So I'm like, okay, I can't do this. He's going to T-Wave again, so I'm going to go into my Poison Palkia, which I just remembered is poisoned and can't be Thunder Waved. And he does take that Thunder Wave nicely, even though yeah, whatever. So I go for a Draco Meteor, and I know nothing he has left can take a Draco Meteor. So I just hit that Ferrothorn like a boss and kill it. And at this point, Palkia is going to die. So I just leave him in his fodder to see what Heracross is going to lock himself into. And it's Night Slash, just in case I switch into Giratina. He gets the Moxie boost, and I'm like, okay, you're Scarfed. I'll just send in my Scarf Skyman. And I lock myself into Air Slash, because, you know, Heracross sucks, and I Air Slash and it dies. That thing was not a threat whatsoever. But, yeah, he goes into Reshiram, and I'm like, okay, I need to save Skyman for the Garchomp he has. So I'm going to go into, what's-his-face, Giratina, to see what that thing locks himself into. And it's Draco Meteor, since nothing I have can take a Draco Meteor, since Arceus is dead. And yeah, Giratina gets rocked, and not even a Giratina can survive that. So I go into I'm bad, because Zekrom is bad, and I hate it so much. I just used it because it's black, and I'm black. And I lock myself into Outrage, because all he has left is Reshiram and Garchomp. And it does rape the Reshiram, but sadly Garchomp is faster than Zekrom, because Zekrom is bad, and I'm bad, so it dies to an Outrage, and yeah, Zekrom, I'm never using you again, you suck. So I go into my Scarf Skyman, which has Hidden Power Ice, and now I have to hope that I can survive, that it can die in one hit to a Hidden Power Ice since it's my last Pokemon, and luckily it does one hit KO the Garchomp. So that was a great game, 777 Pokemon Master, and see you guys later.